So you're all excited you got your new Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra a little early in the mail. Perhaps you got it in black, silver, other silver, beige silver. I don't understand how Samsung can have colors like this and that absolutely gorgeous red, that coral color that I wish I could get on the standard, but there's a month delay on that one now, and I understand why. That's the only real one of the Galaxy S25 lineup that has a shipment delay, and it's because that color is absolutely fantastic. Apparently, Samsung thinks if you spend more money, you don't deserve colors. But that, regardless, not the point of the video. We're talking about One UI 7. And you may like a lot of the visual enhancements of One UI 7, may be excited for a lot of the new features, but you're going through and you're saying, geez, this feels a little off. There's something a little different about it, and that's because Samsung chose some odd defaults for the settings on One UI 7, at least in my view. So here are the 5 settings that I would go through and change immediately to make your Samsung, your new Galaxy, feel a little bit more at home. The first one is lock screen notifications. I don't know why that would have changed. I don't know why Samsung felt the need to go through that. So we're gonna go here. It's lock screen notifications. You could go ahead and search for that and you get it and you pull it up. And you see I have icons chosen here. That's what Samsung chooses by default. But instead of putting, I know cards sounds confusing because you're like, well, icons is what I want. The app icons underneath the time is what I'm used to. But that setting is not what it is. Icons actually puts them in the upper left-hand corner, just very small here. And when you're staring at your lock screen, you can't differentiate which apps are which app has a notification. I have to pick up and stare at my phone. And by the time I'm doing that, might as well just unlock it. To get the apps underneath the time like you're used to, you're going to go ahead and pick cards. And yes, you could get the enhanced or expanded version of the cards, but you still get the actual app notification icons underneath the time like you're used to. That's a big one, I think, and it's an odd settings change that Samsung made for One UI 7. The other one is the app drawer. There is one. This was a quirk from the beta that I was hoping that Samsung would fix for the full release, but it seems to not be the case. By default, you still have the regular horizontal scroll for the apps. Now, if you want that, if you're used to that, that's fine. But if you want to take advantage of the new app drawer, then you're going to have to go down here. You got your 3 dots, and you're going to see sort, which is odd that sort would be the way you do this. Alphabetical order is the way to get it. When you go to custom order, then it's going to bring you back to the horizontal scroll. But if you go in here and you do sort, alphabetical order, that's going to get you the more traditional Android app drawer that a lot of people have been calling for in Samsung One UI for quite a while. Display resolution seems like an obvious one. A lot of phones do this. This isn't a One UI specific thing or a Samsung specific thing, but you're going to go in. All manufacturers seem to do this now. They default the resolution, whether it's for battery savings or whatever, to FHD plus 1080p. So go ahead and crank that up if you want to. You can take full advantage of the upscaling and everything that Samsung has put on this. Gorgeous panel. You pay money for this. You pay money to get a Quad HD plus display. It is fantastic. To me, it's one of the best panels that Samsung has shipped in years. And it's one of the best features, I think, on the S25 Ultra and the entire S25 lineup. The one on the Plus is gorgeous as well. I just think it's fantastic that Samsung reversed a trend, and this is why we talk about stuff, right? This is why we complain about stuff. This is why we talk about stuff. This is why we open our mouths and express an opinion, because that was a conscious decision from Samsung to give us more natural panels and to tone them down. I got no problem with that because a lot of people have eye problems. It distracts them for work, whatever it happens to be. That's fine. You can still have that setting, but give us the enhanced panel as well. Along that line, go in here as well. While you're here, screen mode, I have it vivid, cranked all the way up, and then the vividness slider just cranked all the way up. You can tune that the way you want it. Need it to turn it back to natural, that's fine too. Need it for work, whatever it is, that's something you could do. The other thing that it was a default on my S25 Plus. I don't know because I did smart switch, so when I port it over here, I don't know if that remains on the S25 Ultra, but adaptive color tone is on by default as well. I noticed as the day went on or I was at different lighting, my screen would start to yellow or get warmer. And I was a little confused by that. I'm like, wait, I don't like this. I don't want this. It's because adaptive tone was on by default. That's something that I'm not used to seeing on Samsung devices. So maybe it's just I forgot or something. But if you don't like adaptive tone, if you don't like your colors changing throughout the day, go ahead and do that. The other thing, one thing that manufacturers seem to all be borrowing from iOS, which I absolutely can't stand, but it's one Oxygen OS does it too. Here they've done is the split notification shade from the quick toggles. But thankfully, much like Oxygen OS, we could go ahead and change that back here as well. You're going to go ahead and pull down anywhere. You're going to pull down, I'm sorry, when you have it split at the start, you're going to pull down from the control panel side. You're going to get to the point where fully expand, get to the pencil, go to panel settings, and then here's your option here where you get together or separate. View notifications to collapse quick settings together. To view the full quick settings panel, swipe down one more time, together. That's the standard that you've had on One UI for years. That's what I like. I hate having them separate. Yes, there is a benefit to separate for some people. If you want to get the full set of quick toggles in one swipe, then you're going to want to leave it separate. If you're like me and I just don't want to have to think where I'm swiping from, then go ahead and turn it back to together and you'll get that. The other thing is Now Brief still doesn't do anything. Really doesn't do anything. I have it set up on my, let's see. Let's cross our fingers and see maybe on the phone I've had for 2 weeks. Maybe it'll do something. Nope, look, that's literally my midday brief. I understand there's no meetings and stuff today, but that's about what it does. But you still want to go in and do a few things to at least give it a chance to pull in as much information as possible. So you're going to go into your Now Brief, okay? When you're in here, you're going to hit the settings, content to include, and you're just going to check everything. Just go down the line. I don't have shorts checked because that's annoying to me, but go ahead and check everything that you're going to want. Traffic updates, news, smart home, podcast, communication, just pull in everything possible. So hopefully it just keeps learning. Hopefully it brings up something useful at some point. Hopefully any Samsung updates that they make to it, I do know that they're working on it, will allow you to get that information. And that includes throughout the board, across the board. I know a lot of people, I've seen articles of people saying, hey, I'm wearing a Samsung Galaxy Ultra watch. I'm wearing a Samsung watch. It's not pulling in my health data. That's because you literally have to go into Samsung Health and make sure, you have to go into Samsung Health and do all the settings. Sync it with your Samsung account, which is not the default, believe it or not. Let's see if I could go in here without getting any personal data here. But it's crazy to me that you could go into the settings. Yeah, sync with Samsung Cloud. Oh, it's not, but anyway, syncing with Samsung Cloud is not on by default. When you first pull up Samsung Health, it'll say failure to sync. Go to settings, turn on sync, and then you'll be able to get data over from whatever fitness tracker or whatever you're wearing to pull into here. Still not very insightful. Still not something that you're going to need on a daily basis because it really doesn't do anything. It just basically tells you whether you're hitting your goals, which is essentially a widget, which is all the Now Brief is right now is a widget hub. It's going to give you news. It's going to give you not even curated news. But go into Samsung News as well. That's another one. Go into Samsung News and go ahead and through and set up your news preferences and everything like that. That's something that'll help it eventually down the line. So if you want that, make sure, understand that One UI 7 is very settings and permission happy. I'm not necessarily saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying it's a different thing because it wants you to give permission to everything. You're going to give permission to personal data intelligence, which is what's going to pull in eventually Now Brief and Now Bar and stuff like that. It doesn't do anything just yet, but eventually down the line, it's going to pull in enough information, hopefully, to do something there. So you're going to give information for that. So pay attention. Samsung Health's going to ask you a bunch of stuff. Pay attention to what you're agreeing to because that's what's going to enable a lot of this stuff to work properly. But once you do those things, I think you'll be pretty much back to the norm of what you are used to on One UI 7, which is nice because overall, I do have my misgivings about the AI portion of it. And this is something that someone told me last night. It's like, you're the only person complaining about One UI 7. I'm not complaining about One UI 7. Samsung did have to do something. I like the refresh. I like an app drawer. I like the aesthetics of it. I don't like some of the stuff pulled over from iOS, but then again, that's not Samsung specific. I'm not going to eat their lunch for that. Plus, you could turn off a lot of that stuff. It's running well. It's going to be updated. No problem with that. My problem with One UI 7, or at least the Samsung software, is that it was so heavily pushed as being the reason why you'd buy this generation of devices was because of the AI stuff, and that really hasn't delivered just yet. Not saying it won't. I'm not saying there's not potential there. Heck, I like the idea of Now Brief. I think Now Brief is interesting. I just wish it pulled in news that was relevant to me, number one. I wish it was more of a curated, like, kind of RSS feed. That would be pretty cool. I wish it gave me more insightful stuff on the weather. I wish it gave me, like I did it for a week with my Galaxy Ultra watch on the S25 Plus. I wish it gave me more guided health stuff. Hey, you're more busy at this time of the day. Hey, maybe you should do, like, that's the type of stuff I want from that. If you're going to tell me that AI is going to change my user experience, then don't be surprised when I come back to you and ask you for it to change my user experience. Samsung sat there and jumped up and down about the AI stuff and said, that's why you'd buy this phone. It's going to revolutionize blah, blah, blah. This is the multimodal and agentic AI and stuff like that. You're like, okay, great. Yeah, let's have some of that. And Samsung's like, what do you mean? What do you I don't get that part of it. That's not the reason why you'd buy one of these phones. Look, I understand. We're going to do a bunch of comparison videos this week coming up with this. This is a good phone, okay? Nobody who buys this, I don't think is going to be disappointing. That's not what we're saying when we're talking about this phone. We're talking about $1,300. We're talking about the marketplace. We're talking about Samsung's complacency. But it's fine. A bunch of people are going to buy this anyway. Personally, if you're a regular consumer, this guy. We're going to do a video on this guy later in the week. This is just a really nice phone. I think priced right, nice and thin, great in the hand. See, that's the problem I had with the flat sides here. You do notice that. This just feels like a hunk of something, hunk of metal in your hand. Whereas when we had the rounded corners and what OnePlus did with the kind of thinner frame along the edge, you don't feel that as much. This doesn't have that problem. This is an amazing phone. This is the best feeling Samsung phone in the hand since the S10 Plus. So that's something to consider. We'll have plenty of videos on that later in the week. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, have that delicious day.